Episode 10 of the All Sweet podcast. We're in double digits. It's happened. I've crossed over. Am I a podcaster now? Can I say it? Have I earned the title? I've put out 10 episodes. Hundreds of listens, in all honesty. Hundreds, surprisingly. I thought I'd maybe get 2 listens an episode, but it's been a lot more than that. To my surprise, actually, and I'm very grateful and I appreciate every single listen, every single like and share and word of support that has been shared with me. Much appreciated. Thank you. I think I say it every episode, but that's because I mean it. I am very, 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 very grateful for all the kind words people send me about the podcast, because it helps make it a lot easier. Because some days, in all honesty, I cannot be bothered doing this. And some days I love it. I love doing it, but there's a lot of effort to it. So keep listening and help me get to a point where this can be financially sustainable, so then I can get a little studio. I don't have to spend hours setting up. Someone else could set up for me, and then I could just come in refreshed and put out good content without having wasted half my day on dreading the idea of having to set up the camera and the tripod and all these things. Anyhow, let's get into it. It's a scorcher today, very hot, hot day. The upper lip is like a swimming pool. Look, it ain't good, put it that way. It's hot. This is the kind of weather where women like me faint. There's a certain breed of female that exists. They all get migraines. They all have stomach issues. And they all faint. Fainting is a female thing, isn't it? It's a female kind of hobby. I haven't encountered many men who get migraines or faint or feel a bit dizzy or just feel a bit off. It's not really a male thing. Or maybe men are scared to admit that they're having a day where they feel a bit queasy. They're feeling a bit, not right. I was at the gym earlier today and apparently someone had fainted, and I asked my mate who was working, I said, "Oh, who was it?" He says, "Oh, it's just some chick." And then he goes, "Only women faint." Initially, I took offense to this statement because this is a sweeping generalization, only women faint. But lo and behold, hours later, I'm having my little schnitzel sandwich, I'm cleaning the kitchen, and before I know it, I'm there gripping my bench and trying to lock in with the concept of standing on 2 feet. Because I copped that lightheaded feeling, which was a sign that I was about to go skull to floorboard, in all honesty. My head and my floorboards, they were about to know each other in a way that they have never interacted before. I was going to have to crawl to my phone, call my mum to come over, explain what happened. And then she'll be like, "Well, this is why you don't live on your own. You wanted to be the big woman. You want to live on your own. Now, look, you're fainting everywhere." Then she'll force feed me even more and say, it's because you're not eating enough. You ran at the gym too much and you've gotten too skinny. That's what's happened. What's happened is that it's 37 degrees, my friend. I do feel like women can get away with fainting a lot more than men can. Women were always fainting in old school films. Like in the 50s, I remember they always faint. They're wearing pearls and they're fainting. That was the thing. The haircut would stay perfect still. I don't know, there's something feminine about a female fainting. It's kind of, I don't know, it's really slipping into some sort of feminine energy if you faint. It's like the damsel in distress. You feel ladylike, you raise a hand to the forehead. It's very rare for you to raise a hand to the forehead in today's world. Fainting is a very female pastime, isn't it? I feel like us women, we can get away with fainting. Women were fainting since the 50s. Every film back then, it was just a woman falling over. She's got a nice, neat haircut. She's got a pair of pearls on and a button-up dress. Next thing you know, she's on the floor. Then before you know it, she's making out with Marlon Brando. That was how fainting worked in the 50s. Men fainting, however, I hate to say it, I hate to use this word, it's a bit of an ick. If a man faints, there's no sympathy. And that's not even from me. There's no sympathy just from society. That just shows, see, We're trying to push for gender equality. Let's let the men faint a little. A man faints and like no one wants to talk about it. It's almost like there's this whole thing, when men talk about being physically fit and strong and the hunters. And it's like, what? You can't stand on your 2 feet. You got a bit dizzy and he fell down. Personally, there's something funny about a tall person falling. The bigger the person falling, the more comical it is. There's more fall to it. There's more wobble. A short person falls over. It's like, oh, what happened? Did you crouch? Are you on your knees? Are you doing a prayer? Whereas a tall person falls over, it's basically slapstick comedy at that point. Man, I'm already sweating 7 minutes in. I was telling a friend in Sydney how it's 37 degrees. People from Sydney can't let Melbourne people complain about the heat. It's like a competition for them. I was saying to him, oh, it's close to 40 degrees today. I'm boiling. He goes, 40? It's 46 over here. Okay, cool. Sorry. My bad for thinking I was allowed to feel a little hot. Congratulations on your 46 degree day. You really put in the work for that number, didn't you? You contributed to the high temperatures, I'm sure. I didn't realize that being able to sustain heat is just such an accomplishment. I shouldn't rag on Sydney too much because this is a universal thing. Every city, everyone does it from everywhere. When it's cold, you go, oh, it's cold today. Try living in England. Try living in Scotland. It's cold there. Oh, man, it's a bit hot. Well, have you been to Africa? I went to Africa for 6 months. There it was hot. It's like, okay, sorry I haven't climatized to the climates you have ventured. Clearly, you are more well-traveled than I am. Clearly, you have reached climates I have never seen before. Extreme colds, extreme heats. You're like the modern day Moses. Next time I'm feeling a varying degree of temperature, I'll be sure to consult with you to really ground me on how other places have it much worse. Anyway, that's enough on temperatures and fainting. Let's talk about my week. What's gone on? I've become an iPhone user. I got an iPhone, my first iPhone, and I can tell you something. I have become much more of an annoying person. I've become everything I hated. Put it this way, your girl didn't mind a selfie before, now she loves a selfie. I'm taking photos of everything. I'm filming everything. I'm making a lot more content. Good, bad, funny, not funny. It's existing. It's on my phone. I'm uploading it. And if you follow me, I'm sorry, but there's more coming. You guys thought you saw a lot of my head before. You're going to see even more of my head now. I've never lived in a world like this. Look at this Apple, MacBook Pros, iPhones. Man, she releases a few episodes of a podcast and she's splurging. What can I say? I don't know why it took me this long to get an iPhone. I was being a tight ass, I admit, even though Samsung's cost. This is what would always piss me off. This whole notion of if you have a Samsung, you're broke. Are you aware that Samsung's cost basically the same amount as an iPhone? Like it's not 2009 where Apple's doing all these big innovations that Samsung has never even heard of. It's like it's basically the same technology, just in a different layout, just with different bragging rights. And I was living like a drug dealer or like an adulterist with the burner phone, except my burner phone was my actual phone. That's the only reason people have Samsungs. I hear all these people with these Samsung phones being like, oh, you can customize it a lot more. You can make it a lot more personal. How much customization do I need for a phone? It's like people who need more control, so they drive manual cars. It's like, where are you driving? Like the apps are already made. You're not making the apps. All these guys I know who work in coding, like, oh, I got to have a Samsung. What are you doing with it? You're watching porn and you're scrolling through Instagram. That's all you're doing. What in all the years that I had Samsung, I never found these customizations that people speak of. I called people. I browsed through Facebook and the social media apps. I dropped my phone occasionally, and that was about it. That was the extent of my customization. My customization came from the fact that Samsungs can sustain multiple drops to concrete floor, and bit by bit the glass would chip off. That was the customization of my phone. Let's get into the weekend. I'm going to do a shorter episode today because, man, I'm on struggle street, in all honesty. This is too hot for my liking, and I'm someone who loves the hot weather. Weekend update. I've gotten better at saying no to hangs. Do you remember last week I was going through crises where I felt like I had no people to hang with? So I was accepting hangs hangs where I probably wasn't the best target audience, or hangs where they're just not that good. I got this message the other day, and it was the same lovely little group that I hung out with last week who, like I said, I adore them. They're lovely guys. I've known them for most of my life. However, it's clear they haven't spent much time hanging around chicks because they like to walk everywhere for hours on end rather than actually going to a venue. Anyway, I get a message. What's doing tonight? Heading to so-and-so's for prees, then going to a metal gig at Revs, at Revolver on Chapel Street, where there was a guy wielding a machete the other day. I'm going to dissect this message because, as you know, I like dissecting things. What's doing tonight? Thank you for the message at 5:30 p.m. That's a good time to send a message. That's fine. I'm being petty. I'm trying to find things to rinse here. Heading to so-and-so's for prees. What prees am I doing? I'm not drinking your Mountain Goat beer or whatever it is that you drink. Well, I'm meant to bring a spirit bottle with me. I'm meant to bring BYO Jack Daniels like I'm in Motley Crue. All these, some of the listeners will be able to relate. But do you remember when everyone was into the 80s? And there's a period of your life when you're like 18, 19, particularly 10, 15 years ago, where everyone loved the 80s and loved Motley Crue and had teased hair and would wear 50 belts at one time. You'd rock up to every party or every pre-drink with a Jack Daniels bottle. That same person would end up throwing up 2 hours later, then passed out in someone's bed. You can't take them anywhere. So no, I'm not going to really have prees. Well, I'm going to have half a beer and sit there and watch you guys drink. Going to a metal gig. The metal gig, no scoffy at the metal gig. I like metal music. It didn't even end up being a metal gig. I saw which band was playing. And honestly, if he had told me which band it was, I probably would have gone. And the gig was at Revs. Now that is where you lost me. Revolver. The place where people go to die. Not even figuratively, literally. I dated this guy once and he went missing. And his family found him at Revolver 3 days. This guy was a psycho, man. Honestly, he had so many issues. You know, these people just always have issues. And then I think and then they get to 30 and they still have the same issues. This guy at 22, he went missing, he told me. And his family found him on a 3-day bender at Revs. And I remember saying to him, he came from a really religious family. And this guy, he was a prick. He would treat everyone like shit. The parents are praying to God and their son is walking around like a little scumbag in society. Whoo, you can see Jacinta doesn't like this guy, eh? Yeah, and he told me how his parents found him in Revs. And I said to him, this is what you'll see. I'll say it, what I think I will say to the person. I said to him, your parents found you in Revs 3 days later when you've gone missing. Sounds like your parents needed to do a lot less praying and a little bit more ass kicking so you didn't turn into the adult that you are today. He goes, well, my parents did quite the opposite of kicking my ass. I said, yeah, seems like it, because if this is the final product, then clearly some ass kicking's needed to happen. Anyway, so I said, I haven't spoken about this person much on the podcast. Maybe I will, but why should I give them attention? Good content though, lots of good content. Not a great time for me, but a great time for listeners, I'm sure. Anyway, so he sent the message, heading to so-and-so's for prees, going to a metal gig at Revs. I just replied, this sounds very unappealing. I think I was already in a shitty mood. Surprise, surprise. I said, this is very unappealing. I almost felt insulted that he offered me this. This is the activities you think I want to partake in? To be fair, we had a good laugh about it and he reflected. He goes, yeah, look, didn't think this one through. That's the thing about this particular group, and I'll reference them a few times. Loveliest dudes, but you can tell there's no females floating about in that circle. But it's all because I ended up doing other productive things, set up my own iPhone, went to Comics Lounge. Yesterday, had a lovely day out with the family, all four of us. My brother did a gig. He's in a band called Monroe. Very, very, very good band. And I'm not just saying that because he's my brother. For a long time, I watched this band. I was like, it's still missing something. It needs some areas of development because, I know where there's talent. And frankly, there was talent there, but it wasn't working yet. They've gotten this new singer and the band have stepped it up a notch. The music is great. Like, they're doing the whole 80s thing, but not shit. Because there's a lot of bands that try to do the 80s thing and every single song is like, we're gonna drink, we're gonna fuck, we're gonna fight, then we'll fuck, then we'll drink, fight, fuck. It's like, all right, give it a rest. Give it a rest. Can't, there's other things that happened in the 80s too. Sitting on a beach in Miami. I'd rather hear about a song like that than about how you're going to drink, you're going to fuck, then you're going to fight. Why are we getting abusive after the fucking as well? Wouldn't the fighting come before? I don't know. It's a bit concerned. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but those of you who listen to the music will understand what I'm getting at. And their songs aren't like that. They're fun, they're catchy, and I find their music has matured a lot in the last few months. Anyway, saw the band. The band was fantastic. Let's talk about, this isn't a music podcast. Let's talk about the things that happen in St Kilda. So I'm convinced women hate my dad. And look, there was a period of time where I didn't like him very much. Now, we're mates. But look, he can be a bit moody. He can be very moody, but very funny guy. We parked the car on Carlisle Street. So for those of you who don't know where that is the embassy of the local derelicts. You get a lot of users, abusers, and everything else that exists. I'll let you fill the picture in your head. It's one of those it's one of the locations that if this was the 80s, they would write a song about it. And we park the car and we walk, honestly, 10 meters. And then some lady, I hate describing someone as a junkie because I don't know, an addict, a confused person, and a tortured, lost soul of St Kilda. And I feel bad because I don't know what's gotten her to the point that she's in. But she saw my dad. We'd walk 10 meters from the car. She sees my dad in a crowd of people walking, comes up to him and just starts screaming at him. Really intense. She had hatred. If she could spit fire, she would have honestly thought, all right, great. We've been here now for 10 seconds. Now we have to get into a brawl. And my dad is a bald European man, and bald European men aren't necessarily known for taming the temper, are they? Luckily, it didn't get to anything physical, but man, I was like, right, I'm going to have to step in. Something's going to happen here. And she just did not like you. And this has happened to him so many times where women don't like him. My dad then takes a puff of his vape and just goes, man, he's such a prick. Not that he's a prick, but the things he says. Sucks back the vape and just goes, must have reminded her of her ex-pimp. That statement was then followed by a long exhale of a blueberry vape. This is the kind of man we're dealing with. Old Johnny boy. It's funny because I took a photo of him when we're at the SB, just a candid shot, him sitting on a couch, arms spread, sunglasses inside, bald head glistening. And I was like, man, you didn't look at yourself in this photo. Take stock of the kind of person you are. And I showed it to him. He looks and just goes, man, who do I think I am? No wonder the junkie wanted to fight me. The guy's rolling around in a bowling shirt like he's Tony Soprano. SB's had the refurbishment, which I think I've spoken about it before. It's gentrified now. I don't know what I did. I filmed a sketch. It was just me taking advantage of the iPhone. Anyway, so I went up to the ghost room, cooled down there for a bit. Not a person inside. I guess you could say the ghost room lived up to its name. Usual front bar of the SB had the typical, not upper class, but people who think they're upper class. You know, the socks, you know, the shoes with the no socks, women in fluoro orange dresses. You know, you buy a fluoro orange long dress or combo set off Shein, and suddenly it means that you have money with your jewelry from Lavisa. I love the new generation of kids that enjoy music. They are literally like they're out of some sort of 90s, early 2000s film. There was one guy was down. I was looking around the room while the bands were on, and some of the dance moves I saw, it was as if people have watched American Pie or some sort of Adam Sandler movie. You know, at the end of the film, where it's like they've had the redemption story, then all the characters come together, and then usually like there's a song playing, people are chatting. The two characters that hated each other, you know, not even the main characters, like the two side characters who hated each other have rekindled and are friends, and they're like dancing together. It's like at the end of Benchwarmers, that guy, the Puerto Rican dude who was like the nemesis throughout the film, suddenly he's dancing in the corner, doing some ladder moves. Then Rob Schneider walks in. That is what I felt like watching this gig. There were all these people just like in random corners committing 110% to dance moves that just didn't fit with the music. Exactly like a film, because, you know, they added the music in retrospect. So it's not like anyone's actually listening to the song that's going to be played. One guy was like doing this weird movement like he's milking a cow. Like he's pulling on udders and his head's moving from side to side. I can't describe it, but I love long shorts as well. Everyone's repping the Adam Sandler look. One guy during the gig, this kind of annoyed me a bit. I had a small space in front of me. It wasn't a packed out gig. There was room. There was places for him to stand. Why you found directly in front of me, I'm basically nose to back with this guy. This is where he chooses to stand. Slot himself in the smallest spot possible. Whenever this happens, it gives me PTSD, because I remember once I was at this gig. It was at Faster Pussycat. Man, so many 80s references that aren't good. This is what this episode is, just bad 80s references. But yeah, I remember I was at this Faster Pussycat. I remember I was at this Faster Pussycat gig, and some big old dude stands in front of me. And I look to my mate. I'm like, oh yeah, great place to stand. This guy then farts on me. Genuinely farted on me. He knew what he was doing. He moved himself there, let one rip, and then walks off. Unfortunately, the fart doesn't follow the source. So I'm there just smelling this thing. I'm like, oh, geez. The guy's planting landmines around the venue. It's not the first time it's happened to me. People have farted on me a lot now that I think about it. What is it about me that makes people want to fart on me? Some dude farted on my pizza in Scotland. That's not even a euphemism, man. I was waiting for so long to enjoy this pizza, and everyone's gas bagging at this venue. Then finally they're saying their goodbyes, and he's like, oh, let's get full then, shall we? I kind of slammed my pizza on the table out of anger. And let me paint a picture here. You know, when you've been out on a long night out, or if you're a musician, you've done your gig, and they told you there'd be catering at the gig, but there wasn't enough, and you're hungry, you haven't had food since 12 p.m, and then you're out, and then you're chatting to people, then suddenly you're like, oh, what can we go get to eat? Macca's, pizza, what? Then you build it up in your head. You find out there's a pizza shop down the road. You get yourself the pizza. It's in a little takeaway box. You tell yourself, I'm going to have a bite of a slice, close this up, and I'm going to nurse this pizza, take it back to my hotel room, sit on my bed, place the pizza on my belly, and just go to town on it. That I had it all painted out in my head. I was so excited for this. And then this guy wants to take a photo. I put my pizza on the table, open, for some reason. I don't know why I put it down open. And no one believes me when I say this, but I know what I saw. This guy's ass was, when he turned around, was leveled with the table and my pizza, and he farted on the pizza. My little pepperoni pizza became pepperoni topped off with Scottish flatulence. That's what it ends up. That was the seasoning I didn't order, but that I was gifted. And I swear, and people are like, how do you know he farted? Well, I heard it. And I swear I saw his pants do like a little Mexican wave from behind. His pants winked at me from behind. I saw the pants have movement. It coincided with the smell, coincided with the sound, and my poor pizza that I was nursing for like 4 hours to take back to the hotel, I then had to throw away. Actually, I had pizza the other day. It sounds like I plan these segues, but I don't. This is just, because I was going to then start saying how I had pizza yesterday. I haven't thought about the fart pizza story in ages. And now I'm segueing into a bit about pizza. See, look, hey, I'm bored to do comedy, all right? She's a segue queen over here. Even though I haven't done a comedy gig in yonks, I feel a bit bad about that, in all honesty. I've started doing the podcast and like online clips, and I've really neglected doing live gigs. And it really worries me that this is going to be the start of me not doing comedy. Because I want to do comedy, but I spend so much time working on the podcast that, we're getting deep here now, hey. I spend so much time working on the podcast that it doesn't occur to me to write material. I haven't felt inspired for writing material either, because I guess what I get from the podcast is the process of writing ideas and exploring ideas and just delivering them on this. Like, different comedians get satisfaction from different things. My satisfaction doesn't always come from making an audience laugh. My satisfaction comes from thinking of an idea or concept and then finding out why it's funny and talking through it and figuring it out and sharing my brain and how it works with others, whether it's in a podcast format or a comedy, like live comedy gig. And because I'm getting that out through like in podcast or online content format, I don't really have that urge to do gigs anymore. I'm doing a gig in Geelong this weekend. Hopefully that will change it. Oh, we've gone introspective. But yeah, family then went for pizza after. And my dad, we saw these two girls in the pizza shop who were taking selfies with their cocktails and of their food and of each other and taking photos. And of course, my dad, wannabe Tony Soprano, sees this and goes, oh, look at them over there taking so long, taking photos. Just eat the food already, have your drinks. I turned to him like, man, just let them enjoy themselves. They're young, they look nice. They've probably spent $2,000 on the phones that they're using because that's how much phones cost now. Let them enjoy themselves. He goes, oh, Bill, it's annoying to watch. I'm like, why is it bothering you so much? 20 minutes later, I look over to the table and they still haven't taken a sip of their drinks, still taking photos of each other. And then they spent the next 20 minutes, so 20 minutes doing the photo shoot, and then the 20 minutes after that, they're in post-production, editing the photos, flicking through, selecting. And then I got as annoyed as my dad did. I became I became him. I became a boomer. You know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But I think if you're taking selfies for 20 minutes, I think you're not out for food at this point. You're doing a photo shoot. What's this been? How has this been 37 minutes? What have I even spoken about? Let me refer to my notes. I'm going to finish off on this. Even when we got to the restaurant yesterday, I have this really bad problem where I overanalyze everything. And when we rocked up, the chick goes, where do you want to sit? Pick where you want to sit. I'm like, all right. Over there looks good. And then we walked over. She goes, oh, no problem. We walked over to this table that we picked. Then we were like, oh, actually, you know what? It's a bit cramped. It's by the staircase. It's cramped in the corner. You can't really get the atmosphere of the place we're eating. Let's move to this other table. We then walk over to her and say, hey, sorry, I know we picked that one, but could we actually pick this one? This is in the space of 30 seconds. Like, this is in the space of time it took for the junkie to attack my dad on Carlisle Street. And I say to the chick, oh, actually, can we move to this table over there? She goes, oh, let me see. She's then consulting with her boss who looked like the KFC Colonel Sanders, Bernie Sanders dude. He's then stressed because we're moving tables. I'm like, no orders have been taken. No menus have been placed down. No one's even had their ass come into contact with a seat. I don't know why it was such an ordeal for us to change tables, but there we are. And then because we got a view of the chicks taking 50 million selfies. All right, 39 minutes of recording. Gosh, why did that feel so quick? What have I even said? Man, I hope these are good episodes, guys. I'm getting there. I could be getting worse. I don't know. Anyway, let's wrap it up. It's boiling hot. I want to hopefully edit this tonight because I've done nothing on my to-do list for today. I hope you all have a good week. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the All Sweet podcast. 10 episodes in. I don't know if it's getting better. I don't know if it's getting worse, but it's going. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. Have a great week. See you next week. Catch you later.